Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Christmas season. Merry Christmas to you all. How much more comfortable we are after the election and being able to say Merry Christmas. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First for the Republicans, forgive me, and then the socialists. I'm your host for the Exceptional Conservative Show, Ken McClinton. So glad to have you here. Let us listen a little bit more to some bluegrass Christmas people. Wow. How powerful. Just the instrumental, because you can remember the words and the ending, Almighty God. How great is our God in all of the universe, creator by his hands and not by ours, ruler, judge, savior, redeemer, healer, father. How great it is to have a God who loves you so much that he gives you everything that he is, even his own begotten son, so that those who are most impressively apart from him might have redemption in him, the opportunity to sing his praise. Hosanna in the highest, Almighty God. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a trying year. Nevertheless, we have made it through. And we have a hope that endures in us until the very end, the hope of glory in Christ Jesus. And we celebrate his birthday. I know others will be celebrating Hanukkah. I hope I did such a good job on the intro last night of dispelling the edict from the urban community of celebrating the pseudo Kwanzaa holiday, which is really Marxism and racism rolled into one, presented as a religious effect. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have so much more we have to do in the years to come. And I want you to know that I reach across the aisle. And tonight we're going to be reaching across the aisle to a young man who is running for mayor in the city of St. Louis. Now, I want you to know, in some cities, like St. Louis and Washington and some of the others, the unfortunate thing is that there are no Republicans who are running. So the only option you have is a Democrat. So when you're looking at these particular candidates, the only thing you can go on is what their character says. And there's something about his life and my life that came together last year. And I found him to be a man of high caliber and character. And I want to present him to you all today so that you might know him and encourage others to possibly support him. Now, him, but not his ideology. We'll talk about that. We will have with us my very good friend Jeffrey Boyd, who is running for St. Louis mayor. And there is a primary election March next year. We'll talk all about what's going on in urban America there. So glad to have you here. Mary Brockman, my bouncer, is here. Merry Christmas to you. I love you. She is my bouncer in chief. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. Let us, my friends. Of course, this is big Sackheads radio night that it is. You know, all the Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint at 11 o'clock. And then, of course, Shannon from the Shannon and Mike show will be with us at about 10:30, 10:40. Of course, we will have with us none other than Ralph J. Chittams from the Lonnie and Ralph show, and Lonnie from the Lonnie and Ralph show will be here. The Wright guys that they are will be here at 9:40, something like that. So as we go, they will be here. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do. We take off our hats in honor of our country. We put our right hand and pledge to it. And we look for a flag. You can see a little flag so over here for those who are following on Ustream. For those who are following on live stream, huge flag over here. Let us let the kids lead us in pledge.
Your heart, place your parents, ready, begin. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Woo! We are packed this evening with a lot of people up in the chat room and a lot of people. Melanie's not here yet, so don't let this go to her head. Melanie has become a superstar, ladies and gentlemen, on the Exceptional Conservative Show. And yes, there have been requests to make her one of the permanent members of the political bandwagon. We will definitely do that. So congratulations, Melanie. You did a wonderful job last night. People really enjoyed you. Let us get on the phone our very good friend, Jeffrey Boyd, and let us talk with him. You know how you have this stuff together and then you don't have it together? Well, guess what? I don't have it together at this moment. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I had this thing here. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking with none other than Jeffrey Boyd.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media until he realized how complex and time-consuming social media can be. It's difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, sign up with eClincher today.
Good morning,
I'm Michael Wright.
and I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon,
I
and
think
you're
so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike,
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time
live on SHR Media,
and on TECN,
where we'll be talking about all kinds of things,
from sports and politics
to food and entertainment,
to money
family,
and anything else in between.
community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. Yours truly at the helm. Bingo. There we go. We are contacting none other than Jeffrey Boyd, my
You have
good friend.
reached the voicemail box of 3.
Okay, well, apparently we are not contacting Jeffrey Boyd. Oh, man, I tell you. We will attempt to get in contact with him in just a few. Apparently, we are having some difficulties with doing so. And this just gives fodder to my very good friend, who, without a shadow of a doubt, will be with us tomorrow night. In the midst of his, well, he's a Santa Claus. And he is none other than Professor Dr. Michael Jones. He will be with us tomorrow night for New Day Black and Red. And he will remind me that I did not have a guest in this particular hour who actually came on to the program on a timely basis. I'm quite certain that he will remind me of that intensively. And, well, it just happens that way sometimes. Well, this was a very good opportunity as well to talk with you about some of the issues that are happening around the world. We will have with us, as I said before, in the next quarter hour of our program, something to that effect, none other than Lonnie Poindexter. And there are a number of hoaxes that are going on. I'll just set this up for you. In America, Lonnie Poindexter from Urban Family Talk, as well as Lion Chaser Radio, and he has a wonderful program on SHR in the afternoons from 4 to 6, along with Ralph J. Chittams Sr., the Reverend. They broached one of these particular hoaxes this afternoon, a Mississippi churchman charged in a vote Trump arson. But I want to go to a Washington Post story because this is sincerely a story in which other people would avoid talking about. Just completely avoid talking about it at all. But it goes to show that people are depending on not only the depraved to support them in their actions, but as well the gullible amongst us who happen to be Christian to side very quickly in a politically correct world. I want to put this in the chat room for everyone else to follow along at home. And for those of you who are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show, gosh, You should be in the chat roll at Broadcast Central. The Euro Pacific Bank Limited TECN chat room. We've changed it from TECS to TECN because all three of the TECN shows use this chat room. And we love the fact that it fills up so quickly. White Mamba's in there. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Also, Daryl Graham is in there. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Claudia, who is known as Everyone. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Lonnie Poindexter and Ralph J. Chittams are in there. God bless them. Merry Christmas to them. And, of course, Mary Brockman, whom I love so dearly. She is my bouncer in chief. Merry Christmas to you. A Muslim student in Michigan claimed a man threatened to set her on fire. Police say it's a hoax. Now, this is the University of Michigan. I know that this is this a private college, I think? No, it's a public college because it's representative of the state itself. The University of Michigan student who told police that a stranger threatened to set her on fire if she didn't remove her hijab could soon face a felony charge for false reporting. Police say there is no evidence proving the student's report to authorities in November when she claimed that an intoxicated man, a drunken, could be an old white drunken man, as we might as well go with the total narrative here. But they didn't say this, but I'm just saying, if you're going to go with the narrative, go all the way, pull back and hoist that narrative as far as you possibly can. Well, the investigation will be turned over to the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office, which will decide if the student should be charged. Lieutenant Matthew Liege, a detective with the Ann Arbor Police Department, told the Washington Post Wednesday that because the act of intimidation the student reported to police is considered a felony, she could be charged with a felony charge of filing a false report under Michigan law. Now, I want y'all to understand this. For all of you supporters of hate crimes and all this other stuff, the bottom line is a crime is a crime. And so, you know how I feel about women and children. I think we need to be the most protective body amongst women and children, almost to an extreme. When we send our daughters, and I sent both of my daughters to college. Shanice, who passed away, she went to not only Ball State University, but also Syracuse University, graduated with honors. And my daughter Jasmine, who went to Claflin University, ascertained 2 degrees, graduated with honors. The bottom line is, when you send them away, you expect for them to be safe on the campus. You want no hurt, harm, or danger to come to you, because it is different when they're in school and they're only like 10 minutes away. I mean, you can go over there and be boss man. You know what I'm saying? Kick down doors. Say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey. But when your child is off and away from you, and in my particular case, each was about 8 hours away from me in total drive, you want nothing to come. You don't even want to hear a whisper that there's something happening on the campus. You don't want to hear about rape. You don't want to hear about murder. You don't want to hear about someone have a shotgun. You don't want to hear about none of that stuff. All you want to know is that your daughter is safe. Because I love women are the womb to the world, the nurturers of our society, and also when they're young, they wrap their daddies around their finger. So, that goes along with it too. But under Michigan law, the crime is punishable by up to 4 years in prison or a fine of not more than $2,000. Now, the student whose name is not being released at this time, you have to understand. Now, if this was a white male, the name would have been, it would have been the front page. It would have been right on up there. Without any hindrance, without any problem, would have been right out there, because he's going after her religious belief, even though we know that it's political ideology. Islam is political ideology. It's not a religion. It's made of religion, kind of like Kwanzaa. But the bottom line is, the student's name is not being mentioned at the time, told police that a man in his 20s or 30s approached her between 5:30 and 7 p.m. on November the 11th and threatened to set her on fire with a lighter. She also said the man had an average height, an athletic build, and an unkempt appearance. So, well, that's most of the white kids that go to college. Most of the white guys who are in college, there you go. You just described them. Everyone who's not in the library, you just described. After interviewing witnesses and reviewing surveillance videos, investigators with Ann Arbor and University of Michigan police departments and the FBI found numerous inconsistencies with the students' statements, according to a news release. So this is not. If you're going to lie, keep it straight. That's all. The 18-year-old Muslim woman from Long Island, New York. Okay, this is giving you some clues right here. What happened in New York earlier this year? Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, I know that this is season's greetings. And there are lots of people out there who would like to say to us that we as Christians are so dogmatic, so evil, so mean-spirited, that we are very harsh, that we are enablers, and we're violent, and that we are trespassers, that we are individuals who are willing to destroy another man's religion or political ideology in order that we end up on top, even at the cost of someone's life. But the last time I checked on terrorist actions that were taking place in America, it wasn't the Christians who were doing it. Now, Christians are told that you can't say Merry Christmas. Christians are told that you will be sued if you refuse to bake a cake for someone in the LGBTQ community. There are those who would say unto us that as Christians, it is unlawful for us to have the Ten Commandments. Even in the Supreme Court, they need to take it down, is what they're saying. That in God we trust should not be on the back of the dollar bills. Because as Christians, we seek to destroy human beings. The truth of the matter is, we don't. We won't. It's not in our best interest. In a season, at this time of the year, and I'm so glad this comes out at this time of the year, and in the next segment, when we talk with Lonnie Poindexter, we'll raise the issue of what happened in Mississippi. But I want you all to get this story here. Okay? She was arrested on misdemeanor charges of filing a police report and obstructing government administration. Wow. Finally, a liberal has obstructed government. Couldn't have been Hillary. No. The woman in that case, Yasmin Seaweed, told police and media outlets earlier this month that she was riding the subway home from Baruch College. The findings come out about a week after an 18-year-old Muslim woman from Long Island, New York, was arrested on misdemeanor charges of filing a police report obstructing government administration. This is in New York. The woman in that case, Yasmin Seaweed, told police and media outlets earlier this month that she was riding the subway home from Baruch College, where she is a student, when three drunk men cornered her. Oh my God, she needed Al Sharpton. This is the guy you need. You don't need to file no police report. Find Al Sharpton or that lawyer chick out there in California, IA. Yeah, find one of them. I mean, it went the wrong way filing police reports. Began screaming Donald Trump. The men yanked on her bag and tried to pull her hijab off her head. Seaweed told the New York Daily News on December 3rd, shortly after dozens of New Yorkers turned up at Grand Central Terminal in Midtown Manhattan in solidarity with her, carrying signs that read, "Fight Hate!" and "Note nor city." Not in our city. Note non city. Not in our city. On December 7th, Seaweed disappeared in no longer, prompting a missing persons investigation. There you go. It's falling apart. New York Police Department spokesman Adam Navarro later told the Washington Post that Seaweed is facing charges for false reporting. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center. All right, stop laughing, people. Stop. I'm serious here. I know they are a bemusement to anyone who has reason, the Southern Poverty Law Center. But stick with me here. The Southern Poverty Law Center has tallied 1,094 incidents of harassment and intimidation against immigrants, Muslims, blacks, and other minorities since the presidential election. Wow, since Donald Trump was elected president, we've all turned our backs on blacks, minorities, Muslims, immigrants. Don't you feel a narrative here? A sincere narrative that's going on here. And the reason why I bring this up, because we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with Lonnie Poindexter. The reason I bring this up is very simple. And I agree with you, Ralph. Prosecute her. Prosecute. For the first time in a long time, America, you can wipe off your brow. You can breathe. And you can say, Merry Christmas. Don't think that there are not progressive Marxist socialists as well as Mohammedans that regret that you have the power to elect through your state the President of the United States of America. Soon, within about 29 days, soon, the smirk on the faces of many a Mohammedan will be wiped off in Iran, in Iraq, and Afghanistan, and at our borders. Why? Because we elected somebody who said we weren't going to take it anymore, who heard us say we're not going to take it anymore, and we're going to hold him to us not taking it anymore. So, for all of the Socialist Party's legal clinic, SPLC, better known as the Southern Poverty Legal Clinic, or whatever it is, the Southern Poverty Leadership, Southern Poverty Law Center, that is. Doesn't matter. For all you socialists out there, enjoy your next 29 days, because we're about to wipe the floor with you hereafter. We'll be right back with more of the best in Urban Conservative Talk.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books. Only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Hi, my name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. So we're making a pizza. We use French Italian sausage, They cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredient. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burger. When we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA ground chuck hand patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burgers, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm talking about. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland is the place that you need to be. Right now. Get your burger and stuff now. Or get it later, however way you wish to do it. Or go to the brunch. My wife wants to go to the brunch this weekend. I'll probably take her to the brunch. But good food for everybody. That's what I'm saying. 6339 Allentown Road, Infused Restaurant.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's a president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in like 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And they're the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. We'll be here in a minute. One train went by, another train went by. It wasn't Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issue, the bull elephants aren't in the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
Shameless plug number 72 today on the Exceptional Conservative Network. None other than our very good friend Lonnie Poindexter, great friend of mine, who is not only the host of Lion Chasers radio program that you can hear from coast to coast from 11 to 1 on Urban Family Talk, but also a strong man of God who doesn't mind letting his hair down between 4 and 6 p.m. on SHR Media with the new show, The Right Guys. Good evening, sir. I'm sorry, I had to say good afternoon, getting you welcome to that.
So in my neck of the woods, it's good evening. So how you doing, brother?
Good evening, sir. It's good talking with you. First and foremost, The Right Guys. How's that coming along, sir?
Hey, we're clicking right along. We just concluded our third broadcast today, and so it's been a productive week.
It has been. You all are doing exceedingly well market-wise, growing everlasting. I saw your chat room today. That's beginning to blow up. Why are people attracted to the Right Guy program?
I think it's because we're just crazy enough to not only believe in God, but believe in what he says. And we've been known to say a crazy thing or two. Put people in the ribs.
Well, you all have done a wonderful job. I'm very proud of you all. And if you have not caught on to it, you can, at the very top of our page, you can click on TECN. That will take you directly to the page in which you have Shannon and Mike in the morning, and of course the illustrious Lonnie Poindexter, and equally illustrious Reverend Ralph J. Chittams, who make up the Right Guys. They come on in the evenings between 4 and 6 p.m. on SHR, and they are a hoot. And apparently, Mary Brockman is my bouncer in chief. It appears that Celeste Clavery happens to be your bouncer in chief, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, we all need one of those to keep the crazies from taking over the asylum.
That's right. That's right. Want to address this with you because that news report just came out after hours. They wouldn't dare put it out between 5 o'clock and 6 about the University of Michigan woman who falsified a charge and now is being prosecuted because she said that someone was going to burn her if she didn't take off her hijab. Now, I want to ask you, sir, first and foremost, how important is it for us to respect other people's religious beliefs? And then secondly, in terms of that, why is it that the left don't mind doing this or using this narrative against Christians?
Well, the left speaks about tolerance and inclusion. The problem is it only applies if you agree with their worldview. If you disagree with their worldview, then those rules don't apply at all. The ethics go out the window, and they will do whatever they have to do to win. So it's including lying, cheating. I mean, a textbook example of that is the candidate who ran on the left side of the aisle, Hillary Rodham Clinton. She is a textbook example of to the lengths that they'll go to win.
Yeah.
You know, it's entitlement to the fourth or fifth power in terms of them, and the more, and from engaging with them in social media and also in radio and television, that they don't play fair.
No.
They don't play fair at all.
No.
That's the best way I can put it. Now, we, on the other hand, we play fair. We play by the rules. Now, the rules that we play by are the rules that are espoused upon us by our Creator above. And so it makes it kind of difficult to compete against them, except, as the old folks taught me many years ago, they say, little Lonnie, you plus Jesus equals a majority. So I guess that gets really stacked against them, so they just feel that they have to do what they have to do.
They got to do.
Our big brother's bigger than theirs.
Exactly. You know what? This stuff is just pouring out. Stuff like this is pouring out, and I wonder if it happens to be that everyone else knows that Donald Trump is coming to power. Is that why, at this point, that they're throwing everything they can at us?
Yeah, they use Donald Trump as the figure to rally around in their angst against him, and hence all the lies and half-truths that come out about him. But at the end of the day, it's they hate what he represents in terms of those of us who got off our crusty dusties and went to the polling place and voted our values. At the end of the day, brother, you and I both know it's the anti-God versus the God crowd.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Listen, speaking about the anti-God versus the God crowd, last night we had Professor Melanie Collette on, and she was on our political bandwagon, and we had Chris Arps as well as the Honorable Mike Munzing on, and myself. So she was virtually overcome with such testosterone in the panel. But there's one thing that XY and XX means to all of us. It means that we have separate bathrooms, at least in public. And apparently the North Carolina lawmakers were brought into special assembly over the past week under threat by those who happen to be on the progressive left that they needed to change the bathroom bill. And they fought and they fought and they fought, and they could not come up with a compromise because of what happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. In Charlotte, Charlotte, North Carolina had reached a compromise with the General Assembly and said that we would repeal what we did for the LGBTQ community if you repeal what you did in terms of the bathroom bill. They lied and only repealed half of it. So the North Carolina lawmakers decided today, heck, we need to go back home for Christmas, and left the bathroom bill as it was. Now, I want to ask you, sir, are we going to constantly have this fight going on in America now, that there's no such thing as a XY and an XX bathroom?
If they continue, what we have to keep in mind is there's been some years of indoctrination taking place, and you now have politicians and lawmakers in place that came up through the same educational institutions that muddy the water with the liberal professors and what have you. So that's taking place as well. But the ace that we have up our sleeve is that the common sense voters out there need to hold the elected officials accountable to why we put them there in office in the first place. And when we do that, and we apply pressure from our bully pulpits, which is from the community, in social media, phone calls, emails, whatever we have to do, even if it needs protests out in front of City Hall or the state capitals, to remind them of utilizing common sense and common sense legislation. I think if we do that, as history showed me in my own personal walk as well, is that when we stand up, the enemy shrinks back and goes away. It's not unlike being in a room full of cockroaches and it's dark. You can hear them, you know they're there, and they're busy. But as soon as you turn the light on, they scatter in every direction. And the light that we need to turn on is just continuing to speak truth.
Now, the governor, and we're talking with Lonnie Poindexter, the icon of Christian conservative talk. The governor, Pat McCrory, whose days are coming to an end, he lost by 10,000 votes. I don't know if they counted the graveyards, but he lost by 10,000 votes, and thus is no longer going to be the governor of North Carolina. He had called for that special legislative session about the bathroom bill, and many on the left were assailing the General Assembly simply because of the threats from the NFL, the threats from the NBA, the threats from NCAA, and the threats from NASCAR regarding the bathroom bill. And I want your response to those threats. Is that what corporate America is supposed to be about?
No, it's not what it's supposed to be about at all. And we need to let corporate America know and threaten them that we will boycott their institutions. They're only as strong as the funds that they have to come in to meet their budgets to pay people and do what they do. If they don't have those funds, they will change their tune. And just take an example from the Target boycott, and we need to continue those types of strategies, and we will get their attention.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed that the NHL did not involve itself at all in any of this. They have no comment. They don't want to be involved. I'm really beginning to believe that maybe I shouldn't be watching as much football, even though I watch very little of it now. I watch a lot of college football now. But maybe we should all be turning to the NHL.
I think we should. We should begin to flex our collective muscle. There's way more common sense people in America than the media would like to give us credit for. And when we show up and do what we're supposed to do, the business community will fall in line because the business community is profit-driven. The beauty of living in a God-fearing nation that uses a capitalist society, or capitalist economic system, is that you can vote with your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
If you vote with your wallet, it gets their attention and they backpedal. You heard about Macy's department stores is no longer supporting abortion.
Amen.
It's Planned Parenthood.
Woo! And that's because of organizations like yours, or at least that which you work for, the American Family Association, who took on Target and made them lose $9 billion of stock value in 3 months, which was awesome. They dropped from $84 billion to about $75 billion of stock value, thanks to what you all were doing. A lot of people who are listening to us tonight think, we don't have that kind of power. Christian groups don't have that kind of power. We got to march with Al Sharpton in order to get stuff done.
Yeah. Mr. IRS, Al Sharpton. You talk about power. We have power from on high. If you consider American Family Association, it's not a major multimedia concern, multinational with locations throughout the world and billions of dollars worth of revenue coming in. American Family Association is a small nonprofit based in Tupelo, Mississippi, whose main claim to fame is it's not the largest, one of the largest Christian radio networks in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
But American Family Association, oh my goodness, maybe has 100 employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yet American Family Association stood up to the Goliath target by challenging people of faith to join them. And we have nearly 1.5 million people that have joined that boycott to date. And we have not backed off of it. It's going to be a real interesting Christmas season for Target.
Exactly.
So all we have to do is do what God has called us to do. Just like the old folks said to me, little Lonnie, you plus Jesus equals a majority.
You got that right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Lonnie Poindexter. I know some of you are going away on Red Nation Rising. Smooches to you. Merry Christmas to you. Love you dearly. And this is the last broadcast of the Exceptional Conservative Show before Christmas, so I just wanted to wish you all that very, very Christmas. Many of you all will be tuning in on the Liberty Channel at 2 a.m. to listen. Thank you so much for doing so. And I want to thank God for SHR Media Live, as well as High Plains Pundit Media, HP Pundit, with Dan Butcher and his lovely wife, Jane. They do a wonderful job on presenting the conservative message to the world, and we thank them so much. Merry Christmas to all of you. We're talking again with Lonnie Poindexter. Want to go over one more subject with you, and I know that you got to get prepared for tomorrow morning's radio show, where you have two guys that are supposed to be visiting your studio tomorrow to liven the joint up.
and we're calling security, but we're warned that make sure that they run off with the silverware and everything else.
I want y'all to know something. I went to his studio. Now, he can come to my studio. I ain't got no security like that. I went to his studio. I was on the ground outside with my hands behind my head and everything. And nobody had a cell phone or nothing filming me or whatever. And they wouldn't let me get up off the ground until Mr. Poindexter came down and eyewitnessed me.
Well, what can I tell you? I'm not one to brag, but I got it like that.
Apparently.
He's teasing, obviously, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like that.
I love Lonnie. Listen, apparently the AP says that the economy was healed under Barack Hussein Obama. But unfortunately, the angry white voters didn't like Obama or what he did with the economy, so they voted him out of, they voted for the other person. I want to ask you something, sir. Is 94 million Americans out of the workforce a sign of a recovered and healing economy?
No, it's not. I think, and the growth is somewhere on the south side of 2%. growth in the economy, which is abysmal for America. Maybe that works in a socialist country, but in America, that's abysmal growth. Yeah, it was at 90 some odd million people out of work. If you factor in those who they don't track anymore, who have graduated from unemployment because they don't receive unemployment anymore, therefore they don't track those numbers. It's well over 100 million people that are out of work and have either given up looking for work and probably staying with their parents or living in the basement, doing whatever they have to do to survive. And meanwhile, they brag about sub 2% growth in the economy for those on the left of the aisle. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And then when you consider what Obamacare is doing to the economy, in that your average business person across America can't wait till Trump gets in office to repeal Obamacare.
Oh my God. And I was on your show last week. You were talking about the fact that there's so many small business people that you've spoken to who said, I refuse to hire anybody. Absolutely. I will wait this out. I refuse to hire anybody until Obamacare is repealed.
Yes, I know of businesses, and one in particular I referenced in the show last week. A successful engineering firm in California hasn't hired anybody in 8 years.
I'm attrition. We're going to walk this thing through. I am not going down with it. The other thing about this is, and I don't know your opinion on this. My opinions might slightly differ from the small group that I meet with on Thursdays and Fridays for your program. That's why I'm called Don Vito. But I want to ask you here, do you trust the Republicans to replace it, though?
Do I trust the Republicans to replace itself?
Yeah, replace the Obamacare.
That's actually an interesting question. My hope is that they will replace Obamacare based on the campaign promise of the president-elect. The buck stops with him. He's the change agent from outside of the party. You and I both know they can't stand him. So there's no love lost between the GOP and the candidate-elect. So I'm hanging my hat that he will make good on his campaign promise. Now, here's the caveat to that. If he doesn't, I'll be as bad as any left-winger in talking about it.
Oh, I really believe if he doesn't do even a tenth of what he promised, there will be such a revolution in America. You think the American Revolution was happening all over again. That's how mad people will be in America if he doesn't do what he does. Lonnie, how can people listen to your wonderful program from 11 to 1 during the course of the week?
Well, thank you so much, sir. This will be shameless plug number 2 on your show. You can catch me Monday through Friday at urbanfamilytalk.com. That's urbanfamilytalk.com. The name of my show is Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter, and the name is based upon an interesting figure in the Bible, one of David's mighty men by the name of Benaiah. If you go to 1 Chronicles 11:22, you can learn about his feat. He basically went one-on-one with a lion down in a pit on a snowy day and slayed him. So it's a show that's about uncommon men and women of faith speaking truth in these dark and evil days.
Thank you, sir, so much for all that you do for all of us and for just being a broadcast icon. God bless you, and I look forward to talking with you tomorrow morning on your radio program.
God bless you, sir. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is none other than Lonnie Poindexter, the icon for Lion Chaser Radio. I'm a lion chaser. You're a lion chaser. We all can be lion chasers, submitting to the will of God. Ladies and gentlemen, when we get back from this first hour, I hope that you enjoyed this first hour, and I will talk personally with Jeffrey Boyd tomorrow. I'll get that boy back. I'm reaching across the aisle and the boy doesn't show up. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this first hour. To all of us who will be going away, Merry Christmas to you. The last broadcast of the Exceptional Conservative Show before Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. And also want to say to you, tomorrow will be the last broadcast of New Day Black and Red before Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Whatever you do, it's not about the gift you give. It's about the giver who thought of you, of the ultimate gift he gave us all. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in the second half with none other than Lonnie Poindexter. Ralph J. Chittams Sr. Peace. Ralph J. Chittams Sr. and as well, the lovely Shannon Wright.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian. Because it's our story, too.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. TECN Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than TECN Sean and TECN Clint. And we're working on some integration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECN Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHRmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, SHRmedia.com.
Is your PC causing major headaches? Now there's an easy way to make your computer run like new again. Introducing System Mechanic, America's #1 PC performance software. System Mechanic scans your entire PC for over 200 different types of errors. It then automatically fixes even the most stubborn and frustrating PC problems, restoring full speed and stability in minutes. Visit runlikenew.com to try it free.
Ladies and gentlemen, this time of the year, we want to see clearly. The best way to see clearly.
You went on the air. We're talking about your
contact.
Sunglasses. Yes. Scary called me in a panic last night. I went on the air and I called them fake. They're not fake. They're real. We're gonna get sued.
Really, they're real?
Yeah. And he gave. What's the name of the company you ordered them from?
I bought it from a company called EZ. That's the letter E, the letter Z. Contacts USA.
So he goes on the air yesterday and says, "EZ Contacts. They're a scam. Ignore them."
No research, nothing.
Yeah, didn't look into. I'm like, you're being a little reckless. Yeah. You know, even though they, I don't know if those are real product glasses or not. But he went on the air and said that anyway.
The opposite of 60 Minutes, Scary Jones.
Yeah. We don't know. We didn't investigate. I'm sure they're a scam.
Well, I got them for $150 lower than you could normally find them.
Are they a scam?
They're not. I looked into it. I researched it in full. I am holding legit, real Prada sunglasses. Wow.
So
Really?
I'd like to issue an apology. I just want to say, of course, we got a call from the company.
From the owner, yeah.
They had lost orders yesterday because of what is scary. Because of what scary said. They should make you pay what they lost yesterday. How much was that total?
Oh, I don't even know. but at the end of the day, it's like it's almost one of those too good to be true things. Yeah, it is true.
So you did your research on this?
I did my research. I did my homework. At the end of the day, Easy Contacts USA, they actually sell real, legitimate stuff. You have to
at great prices.
At great prices.
Can you imagine last night, I'm getting ready to eat dinner, I get a phone call from Scary. He's like, hey, you called 2 minutes?
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
got the same call.
I'm like, okay.
Was it 2 minutes?
25 minutes later, I'm like, all right, Scary, that sounds great, man.
No,
Hey, yeah, thank you. All right, I'll let you go. I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's unbelievable.
Everything worked out.
All right, thank you, Scary. So Scary...
It could have been last season's. You know, sometimes they do that. Last absolutely. Whatever.
Scary accused them of the company of being a fraud, and they're not. And that was very reckless of Scary.
It really was.
Yes, Froggy.
Scary's going to turn this around at some point before it's over. He'll go, I was doing them a favor. See, at first I said it wasn't real. Now it is real. More people are going to buy from them.
I did the homework, boss. They're real.
At the end of the day, if you want to
Thank you, Scary.
Here we go.
Scary, if you give the name of the company one more time, I swear to God, you're fired.
You're going to kick me in the
I'm going to kick you in the balls. But, you know, I'm glad the owner did hear you. They do listen. Yeah. And I'm glad they heard you and they corrected you, because that's very reckless to go on there and say someone's a fraud.
But I'm excited to find out that you can get really cheap sunglasses.
Yeah, no, me
really
too.
nice.
What's that website again?
I don't want you to kick me in the
Okay,
balls.
Scary, one more time.
It's the letter
I mean, if you do it anymore, we're going to have to send them a bill.
The letter E, the letter Z, contactsusa.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Boyd, my very good friend Jeffrey Boyd. Mary, whatever you do, you know how we feel about this kind of stuff. Take him off the list. Take him off the list. He just sent me a note that says that he had an emergency and that he couldn't make it on tonight's show. He apologizes. I sent him a note to let him know that we are rescheduling Jeffrey Boyd. So, Jeffrey, I hope that you're still watching. Just want to let you know, we look forward to rescheduling with you. Hopefully get you on next week, man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hey! Mary has taken you off the list, so you can come back on. Merry Christmas, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you. I want to thank you all. You all know that I love bluegrass music. I really do. It is something special about bluegrass music. When I traveled through places like Tennessee, West Virginia, as a kid with my parents, as we were, and also Georgia, when we were taking the loop through, in Alabama, you would hear the bluegrass late at night. And it was comforting. It was very relaxing, and there were always stories that were told. Of the three of us that hang out and do the program on Lion Chaser Show on Thursdays and Fridays, with Ralph and Lonnie and myself, those two can tell stories. I am not a storyteller. I can't tell stories, but what I do love listening to are storytellers. And those who do bluegrass music, I would say long before there was country. Just want to put it that way. Long before there was country music, there was bluegrass. And bluegrass has a soulish spirit to it. If you get an opportunity, listen to it. And I will give those who are in the chat room tonight a link that you can listen to this country music, bluegrass music, which is the seed of country music. And it is so relaxing, so enjoyable, great spirit. I love it. Daryl Graham in our chat room says it always reminds me of hunting. I agree with you, man. It's just something about that spirit that you love so much and that I love so much as well. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. That's Washington, D.C., to you and me. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican and then to the socialists, Marxists, and progressives that like to purport Kwanzaa as an official holiday. Nah, Kwanzaa is not an official holiday, baby. It ain't nowhere in the Bible, and hatred can't be celebrated. Sorry, just can't do it. Tonight, we're bringing on, of course, the gentleman formerly known as the Kraken. We will not call him the Kraken any longer. He is the Right Reverend Ralph J. Chittams Sr. All right. Okay, and apparently, I can. What's up with everybody? Y'all Christmas shopping tonight or something? Is that what it is? Are we Christmas shopping? We get ready to call Pastor Shannon. Wright has made her presence in the chat room this evening. We all bow. We all bow in her presence. Glad to have you here. You're such a beautiful woman. We love you dearly, and you are well treated as a baby sister. We are going to try Ralph J. Chittams one more time here. There we go. Good evening, Mr. Chittams. It is an honor and privilege to have you on the air, as you are the superstar of Radio 1 and now the superstar of your own radio program in Drive Time Afternoon. How does it feel, sir?
It's a lot of work. It's fun. It's exhausting. Doing the right guys a lot. Poindexter is a lot better because I'm not fighting for 54 minutes out of the day. Match. But yeah, it's time for the conservative message to get out to the people through the mass media, so they can finally hear something that makes sense.
Exactly. And I applaud you and Lonnie and also Shannon and her husband, Mike, for taking on that challenge to TECN to secure the drive time periods. And this is what I'm going to ask everyone in the chat room. Before you leave here tonight, I want you all to make the choice of not either or, but both. Shannon and Mike in the morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and Ralph and Lonnie from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you would, tell everyone to come into the chat room to listen to their programs. Encourage people to listen. I'm not going to lie to you. I want this movement of those two drive time shows to be bigger than WMAL in Washington, D.C. And I believe that they will be, as they are just wonderful, wonderful programs to listen to. And I give you your kudos. You all do a wonderful job, sir.
All right, so we are doing the best. We don't want to upset Don Vito McClendon.
I gotta deal with this. No one will have a horse in their bed. I promise you. I want to ask you in regards to what you just heard earlier about the young woman who made the false report. There's also a news story in which in Mississippi, apparently, in order to get the narrative across that Republicans and conservatives are evil and want to burn down churches and mosques, people are willing to go to the extreme to make that reality. Can you tell us about that, sir?
Well, yeah. What's happening is we're now having across this country false flag operations.
Mm-hmm.
And every time one of these things hits the newspaper, I'm the one who sits back and says, watch, it's going to be a Democrat who did this. And what you're referring to was there was this church in this black church in Mississippi that was burned to the ground, and on the side of the church was written the phrase, vote Trump. And so everybody automatically assumed that this was some, bigoted, white, racist, black, hating, conservative, Southern Baptist, Christian who had it in for black people who burned this
church down, and that's the narrative they ran with absolutely no proof whatsoever. And I sat back the day that report came and said, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be another false flag incident, and lo and behold, this is exactly what we're getting.
Now, I want to make this very plain to you all. McClinton, that works with TECN, is spelled MCCLENTON. There is no relation to Andrew McClinton, who has been charged with one count of first-degree arson of a place of worship in connection with the November 1st blaze at Hopewell Baptist Church, a predominantly black church in Greenville, Mississippi. Authorities did not release a motive, but we have to look at November 1 is only a week away from the November 8th election. Do you not think that was the motive behind this hate crime?
The motive behind this crime was to completely tick off and galvanize the black community so that they would be motivated to run out to the polls and vote against these racist white Republicans. That's exactly what the motivation was.
But why is it that the press won't report that? Why is it they won't say what we just said?
Because the press is in the tank for Democrats.
There you go. There you go.
Period. There's no reason to sugarcoat this thing.
Mm-hmm.
They are still in the tank for Hillary Clinton. They are not reporting the fact that this woman is completely unhinged right now. She's drinking like a fish. She's in a state of depression. She's probably close to suicidal, but instead they float stories, and I just read it before I came on the air, that Hillary Clinton is keeping her campaign committee together because she's convinced that in 2020 the American public will be so ticked off with Donald Trump that they will be clamoring and begging for her to run for president again. This woman needs a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
She's delusional.
That you have to be delusional. You have to be delusional when 14%. I'm sorry, it was 14% of the black vote for Trump was female. The other 86% was black males. When blacks are leaving the plantation of the Democrat Party as quickly as they are, you have to be delusional that everything that you're doing is absolutely right, and somehow the right-wing conspiracy is accurate and true.
The Clintons, honestly, they believe, and this is my opinion, I believe that they believe they have a birthright to power in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They think that simply by being a Clinton, they have a right bestowed upon them by God to lead and govern the rest of us peons. And that kind of ego is dangerous.
Exactly. We're talking with the Reverend Ralph J. Chittams Sr. And it wouldn't be the Exceptional Conservative Show if we did not give the Right Reverend the opportunity to boast in the Lord of how he has been blessed by his progeny. Is today a good day, sir?
Truthfully, it's always a good day. I wake up every morning, regardless of personal circumstance, understanding that I am truly a blessed individual. I said earlier on our show, the Wright guys, I've been married now for 33 years. I'm the husband of one wife. I am right. I said that right.
Yes, you did. Make sure you stick to that one.
And today in social media on Facebook, I announced it was Proud Daddy Day. And then I proceeded to, just give a short praise report about the great things that my children are and have done. And on the 10th of December, our older twin daughter, she just got her Bachelor of Science degree in biology, and she'll be starting graduate school in January. Our younger twin daughter,
she made the dean's list, and she'll be graduating in May of next year, 17. Our oldest son, RJ, who's married, and we have an absolutely gorgeous grandbaby from him and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And our younger son is a gifted, talented musician who travels the world. So I declared today was Proud Daddy Day, because I truly am a blessed man.
You are indeed.
I don't have everything that I want, but I can honestly say that I truly do have everything that I need, and it's really ticking off my wife. Here's the holiday season, because she keeps asking me, what do you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't have an answer for that question.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm at a point in my life where my daughters have gone on, one to be with the Lord, the other to be in her career as a teacher. They graduated with honors. My life with my wife is great. I have everything that I need. I am satisfied. I have everything that I need. And so when my wife is wondering, what do I get him for a gift? I'm saying, get me root beer.
Well, the one thing that I did want for Christmas, my wife flat out told me that, no, I can't have it.
What is that?
I wanted a street legal AR-15 for the District of Columbia.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
She said, no, you cannot have that.
No, but when a wife says no, she really means that she's considering it in future conversations. So keep at it.
When she said no, what I heard was, not now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. See, Mrs. Biggs, that's what we have been trained to believe. Maybe later. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Ralph J. Chittams, Sr. He has a wonderful appearance almost on a weekly basis now. If Radio 1 was brilliant, they would make it daily. His appearance on Roland Martin, the Ascot Man show, they would make it daily.
If TV One is serious about being the station for the dissemination of information to Black America, they don't need to have me on Roland Martin show every day. They need to give me my own damn show.
Hey, this is your opportunity. For those who are in the chat room, for those who are listening, y'all should send emails. You should pick up the phone. You should call Radio 1 and say, this guy needs his own show. Absolutely his own show.
Kathy Hughes at TV One.
There you go. There you go. If you want to change something, that's the best way to do it. And can you imagine if thousands of conservatives from around the country just started sending emails to Kathy Hughes while she's being played on that little harp by her boyfriend?
Because if you are serious about being the voice that's going to report to Black America, then you need to be balanced in your programming. And you need to have a show with a conservative message that's going to present that message in a clear, coherent manner to your viewing audience. And I've been on that show for a year, and I think I've more than proven that I'm capable of doing it. And so, yeah, they need to have a conservative show on TV One, and I need to be the host of it.
Bingo. Well said.
Let your friends and neighbors know to contact Kathy Hughes at TV One, and let's make this happen.
There you go. I agree with you. His own TV One show. There we go. I'm getting ready to put that out on Twitter and as well Facebook. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you might be surprised. The Twitter universe has allowed Ken McClinton back in. It's amazing. Simply amazing what God will do.
Yeah, and I had my first Twitter stalker. So I guess I must be moving to the big time. This fool took 3-4 hours out of his life to produce a 20-minute video where all he does is just talk trash about me in an attempt to take me down. Who is Ralph J. Chittams Sr. that I'm going to own somebody's life
imagine? Can you imagine him sitting in his basement right now listening to you?
And what's funny is I have never mentioned this guy's name. I will never mention his name. I will never respond to him in social media. I will not give this fool an ounce of oxygen because all he's trying to do is make his name for himself on the back of somebody else. So he can sit in his mama's basement and scratch his you-know-what. And I will never acknowledge his existence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Ralph J. Chittams this evening. He is a tremendous commentator and an awesome man of God, great family man, and one that you should have come to your church or to your organization to speak in the new year. I know y'all putting some plans together for Mother's Day and Father's Day or whatever, but this is the kind of man that you really want speaking to your congregation. He is a great, great man of God. I want to ask you here very quickly as we are moving towards the break, and we'll depart with saying Merry Christmas to one another. But apparently, Health and Human Services Secretary Sylvia Matthews released a report today announcing that 6.4 million people had chosen the Affordable Health Care Act health plans by the deadline this week for coverage to start on New Year's Day. That is an increase of 400,000 people, though it is fewer than first-time customers enrolled. Literally, this was supposed to be a plan to cover 20 to 30 million people, and only 6.4 million people are covered. Is this a great success by the President of the United States of America?
Yeah, if you're measuring success by how you destroy a healthcare system, it's been a fast.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Do you trust the Republicans to repeal and replace this? I mean, do you want them to replace it?
Well, yes, I do. But see, here's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, repeal and replace is a great soundbite. You know, it's got the mnemonics and everything else. But honestly, what needs to happen to the ACA, it needs to be gutted and reconfigured like you do to a house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go in and renovate a house, typically you just don't rip it all the way down to the foundations. You know, you go in, you rip out the non-load-bearing walls, you knock out a few windows, some doors, and stuff like that. That's what needs to be done to the ACA. There are some good things about the ACA. You know, the fact that, you can't be denied health care due to a pre-existing condition. That's a good thing. And I think most people who are looking at a government-sponsored healthcare system is going to say, well, no, you shouldn't be denied due to pre-existing conditions. So I'm more in favor of using the terminology guts and restructure. Now, the first question you ask is, do I trust that the Republicans are going to do it? No. I don't trust that anybody is going to do any. There are a few people on this planet that I truly trust 100% to keep their word.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person at the top of that list is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there's a precipitous drop-off to who number 2 is. So, no, I don't trust that the Republicans are going to do it. But what I will say, it is up to those of us who want to get jobs inside of the administration, and those, in your listening audience who may not want to get jobs inside the administration but are engaged with policy. It's up to us to make sure, using the inside-outside game, the man on the inside, the man on the outside, to put pressure on these elected officials to make sure that they do the things that we want them to do. That is what an engaged citizenry does. That is what is required of us under American-style democracy.
But isn't it really like replacing government with more government when you say replace and repeal? Do we want government involved in this in the first place?
Government shouldn't be involved in it, but it's going to take a gradual step-down process to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just rip the Band-Aid off of this thing and say, government is completely out of healthcare now, and as of tomorrow, the government is out. Things have gotten so intertwined and mixed up together that in order to get to the point where it should be, it's going to take It's like when someone is taking medications,
Yeah.
you just can't stop taking your pills. You know, if you're taking, 50 milligrams, your doctor backs you down to 25.
Yeah.
Then he backs you down to 15, and then 10. That's what it's going to take if we are ever going to get government completely out of healthcare. It's going to take a number of years, and it's going to take a step-down model.
Now, I just want to broach this with you. And I can say it on my show. I can't say it on Lonnie's show. But there are a lot of pussies in the Republican Party. And as soon as the media begins to say to them that you are killing children, that you are taking away health care from people that need it most, who are in great need, that you are destroying the fabric of protection that we have for the weakest and the most inept, that you, Republicans, are going to destroy health care for millions of people around the country, I believe that the Republicans will bend. Am I wrong on this?
No, they're not.
Thank you.
There are members of the party who are going to start waffling, and they're going to cave, but that's where it's going to be up to those of us who are trying to get positions inside the administration, and those of your listeners who, I said before, who don't want jobs in government, but are just active and engaged citizens, to exert the pressure on elected officials to hold them accountable to do the things that we elected them to do.
Wow.
Elected officials, left to their own devices,
Yes.
are not going to do anything.
Exactly.
It's up to us, we the people, to ensure that we get the government we deserve.
There you go. I want to ask you, in closing here, and as I say to you, Merry Christmas. What is your Merry Christmas statement to the world, sir? As this is.
So I want to first give a Merry Christmas to everyone in the chat room. I've been watching the comments in the chat room, and here's my present to everyone in the chat room. On the nights that I come on Don Vito McClendon show, the Exceptional Conservative show, we will still release the Kraken. So I am bowing to the pressure of the listeners and the members of your chat room. And on Wednesday nights at 10:05, Don Vito, yes, you may continue to release the Kraken.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your wisdom, and I kiss the ring, will you?
And as far as, honestly, I just want to wish everyone, everywhere, just the happiest and merriest of Christmases. And I do understand that for some people, this time of year can be very, very, very difficult. And for those who may not be feeling, Christmassy and cheerful for any number of reasons, I just want them to know that, in the midst of my happiness, I will be praying for you. I'll be praying that God continues to bless you, that God will heal you in those areas of your heart that cause you to not be able to be joyful during not just this season, but any time of the year. And then I look forward to those listeners as well in the future to be able to join with you and me and everyone else that we love and just be joyful and cheerful, during this time of year.
Praise God. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Lonnie Poindexter's show, Urban Family Talk, Lion Chasers. God bless you, sir.
God bless you, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to work with these esteemed men, and it's a great honor to come before you every single night. I am ever so thankful for you all, and I hope that in the coming year that we all share in the bounty of our faith in Christ Jesus, who is a rewarder of those that diligently seek his face. When we come back, none other than the glorious Shannon Wright. And please make certain that every morning she has coffee. We need to get somebody, an intern, to work with her on her radio program to make certain that at 6:30 every morning her coffee is prepared. Can we do that?
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose like a light bulb. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows like a flashlight. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him Hank. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games like Monopoly. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, ho, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, yippee! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history like George Washington. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose like the light bulb. And if you ever saw it.
And today I'm gonna walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We're using fresh Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. And our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused heat burger. When we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA ground chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burger, and we're gonna grill it to perfection. After I flip the burgers, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're out there Christmas shopping. I know that you're at the Walmart 24 hours. And all the other stores are going to be open late and everything else. Stop trying to race home to cook for the kids and the family. Don't do that. All you need to do is go to 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland, which is right down the street from the Walmart. I'm just telling you, I know. Leave the Walmart, go directly to Infused Restaurant. Get your food on. That's what I'm saying to you. Get your food on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the actual commercial-free period of the Exceptional Conservative Show. But there is one commercial that I need play because it will introduce to you exactly why Sackheads Radio Night, SHR Media Night, is so very special.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Dude.
The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the best late night conservative talk show in America. It is Sackheads Radio, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have it in such a fashion where you don't even have to leave the Exceptional Conservative Show page. You can actually scroll down and go directly into the SHR Media chat room. So yes, you do not even have to leave the Exceptional Conservative Show page. Some of you all are scrolling down right now from the Euro Pacific Bank Limited TECN chat room. And as you scroll down and go past the Ustream information, you will come across the Spreaker embed there that you can add to your own website. And as you have an SHR Media chat room, you can sign in now. Go ahead. I would tell you to sign in now because the first 10 people get in for free. And any black person that comes in after that, Sean won't let them in. So just want to let you know. Go ahead, scroll down, sign in. You're going to be listening to the best late night conservative talk with Saki and Sean, Saki and Clint. And of course, they deported Sacco. And they replaced him with an old white bearded guy named BZ. So, you know, that's how affirmative action works in our country. Just ladies and gentlemen, really, I love Sean. I love Clint, Sacco, and Sir Mark, the Obliviating Zeppelin. I love you all so much. Merry Christmas to you all, and enjoy the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than the beautiful, the glamorous Pastor Shannon Wright, and she has a clip that I can introduce her to now. And this is how we'll do it right here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we go. No, that's not the clip.
Today I have a Shein signing.
No, that is not the clip. Thank you very much. Let's try to get this
Good
right.
morning.
There we go.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than the very beautiful and vivacious Pastor Shannon Wright. Good evening, ma'am. It's a great honor and privilege to have you on the Exceptional Conservative Show.
Good evening, sir. It is the oddest thing to be live listening, waiting for you to start the segment and hear that promo.
Is that also Mike that I hear in the background there? Is that Mike?
It is. It is.
Okay, I want to introduce to you all the star of the Shannon and Michael Wright program, Michael Wright. He is the superstar of that program, and Shannon is his sidekick on The Right Way with Shannon and Michael Wright.
I did a pick for you, but I'm not sure if it's the side one.
Oh, you all do a tremendous and marvelous job early in the morning, 7 to 9 a.m. And I got to ask you, Mike, do you have her coffee IV already hooked up to her?
Well, Mike is actually, he stepped away, so he can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Probably done purposely. Anyway.
Probably. Trying to avoid getting in trouble, as you like to do with people, get them in trouble.
I don't get Mike in trouble. Do I get Mike in trouble? Never. But I'm encouraging everybody that they should put the TECN page in their browser, and instead of listening to WMAL and some of the other stations, especially Fox in the morning, Fox News, and I'm talking about the local Fox News stations. Why not switch over to your program from 7 to 9 while they're getting ready for work, while they're driving? Why is your program so great?
Because we're awesome.
That's true. Very true.
We try to talk about current stories of the day, and from a real person perspective. Also with the knowledge that getting up for work in the morning, unless you're one of the fortunate few that is actually going to a job you like, is drudgery. So we try and brighten it up a little bit. And
you do. And you know what? I must say this about you. You are a very perky lady.
When I've had my coffee.
Oh, my God. Now, I want you all to know that that's a running joke on their program because Mike, who is the producer of the show, he handles all of the equipment, handles all the setup or whatever. And one of his jobs is to have coffee ready for Shannon for the appearance. And unfortunately, that has not been the case. But I think that we've worked out those labor negotiations, right?
We have.
Okay.
We have. And we are a true team. He fills the coffee pot and sets the timer before we go to bed. And when I get up in the morning before we start the show, and I make sure that I actually fix the coffee in the cup and bring it to him. So
there you go. That's a great teamwork there. There you go. Now, why is it you all had Blair on? I forget the name of Blair, last name for Blair, from Baltimore. You had her on today, and you were talking with her, and she's an urban conservative, and she's Jewish. And can you tell everybody why they should have listened to this morning's program?
Well, because you hear our perspective, and in case you were associated that we're black, just in case you were curious.
Really? Clutch the pearls.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. And you don't, as it is, there are very few, as we all know, black conservative Republicans, and to find them in Baltimore is really kind of, the perception is it's an anomaly. And then to find a Jewish conservative Republican as well, and that there is a contingent of that as well in Baltimore, it's like, well, what's going on there?
Yeah.
What do people do it?
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was important to hear about all sorts of people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, that are unified in their thoughts and their philosophies and in their pursuit of policies and philosophies that will actually strengthen communities.
Now, you've had a lot of great guests on over the past 2 weeks of your program. Your program jumped from last place as originally starting on SHR, and you're moving very quickly up the ranks of listenership. Are they listening? Why are people? You have a large audience that's beginning to build. Why are people listening to your program?
Because we're real people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't try to be anything that we're not. And we just make sure that urban conservative, you can still be yourself and be an urban conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And we just keep it real.
There you go. You do indeed. I was going to say that maybe it's because of Mike that everybody's listening.
It could be.
It could.
It's kept me around this long, so
it could be. Shannon and Mike in the morning. Wonderful program. You have got to make certain that you go to TECN, that you make it a part. For those who are in the chat roll, you can click on that link, SHR Media, TECN Live. You can come into the chat roll and you can talk with Shannon and Mike while they're on the air. Wonderful, wonderful program. Got to ask you here in terms of not only what's happening in Baltimore, but around the country. Is there a feeling of hope in America again? Or is Michelle Obama correct in saying that now we are feeling the dregs of hopelessness?
Well, I'm sure she is feeling the dregs of hopelessness, perhaps for some different reasons. But, the answer to that question really depends on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask the majority of people in Baltimore, they're scared out of their britches.
Yeah, they are.
But if you ask Republicans, of course, they're ecstatic. The truth is this. The party is a label that you wear for the purpose of the way the system is built. But it's really up to the individual person wearing that party label, what their plan is and how they intend to govern. There is a wide range of perspectives and views within the Republican Party, just as there is within the Democrat Party.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is more important what the individual intends to do and accomplish than the party label that they wear.
Exactly. Now, I wanted to ask you also about the recent information on the Healthcare Act, the Affordable Healthcare Act. I think we should just eliminate the term affordable because there's no way that it is. You have a choice between healthcare and your mortgage. You pick. But they say that women will be the most hurt group when the Republicans repeal Obamacare. Now, I'm asking you because you have the XY chromosome.
I do?
Yeah, you. Clutch the pearls, yes.
Oh, my.
But
I'm sorry.
See, this is the perkiness you get at 7 in the morning. Now,
yes, it is.
Yes, it's true.
Let me tell you, when you end your day and when you start your day, it should be on a good note.
Yes, it should. It should, and it always is with you. But really, are women going to be the most hurt group with the repeal of Obamacare?
Again, it depends on who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. There are significant, I'm going to be very honest here. In my mind, in my opinion, and my perspective, maybe tainted from living here in Baltimore, but the repeal of Obamacare needs to be done carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Because there really are large numbers of folks that did not have insurance before that do now.
Mm-hmm.
However, for those that have it already, it has become an increasingly difficult thing to be able to maintain.
Yeah.
So, whatever is done, it needs to be done with thought.
Mm-hmm.
I would not just, based on a campaign soundbite, slash something and leave huge segments of the population unprotected. But by the same token, you can't say that this is something that's going to be cost effective for all when it is truly not, and just leave people drowning financially because do you pay for health care, do you take the penalty, or do you not pay something else? So I think that by enacting Obamacare in the manner in which it was done, you created a problem no matter what you do at this point.
Exactly. Well, one of the great things is that there would be monies returned back to the states because really from this point on, Medicaid is supposed to be the tool that's supposed to pick up the bulk of the cost of Obamacare. And so the states were getting ready to pay a very high penalty for this entree into socialism and socialized medicine. I'm concerned that we are moving too far away from free markets and greater dependency on government. Is that an apt concern of mine? Is that a concern of yours?
In some respects, it is most assuredly a concern. I mean, as a business owner and as an entrepreneurial spirit,
yep.
I do not appreciate anybody trying to stick their hands in my pocket.
There you go.
I mean, you know.
Let's be real.
I'm just saying. I don't want anybody's hand in my pocket but my own.
Exactly.
So, you know, I get it from that perspective, but I do believe also that when you are talking about things like healthcare and you know, basics like health and food, there is a human side to it. Mm-hmm. So I think that all of those in position to create and pass policy need to be mindful of that.
Yeah. I want to also talk with you very quickly because I only got about a minute or so to go, but I wanted to bring up Lindsay Burke in the Heritage Foundation did a report regarding the call for reducing federal intervention in education and moving towards student-centered policies. Part of that is support of the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program, which basically gives up to $7,500 to a student to attend a private school. Are you open to that happening, not just in DC, but around the country? Why not?
Well, if I had my druthers, what I would do is I would close every below average, below national standard performing school until such a time where a plan could be submitted that made it actually competitive, and I mean competitive in terms of the cost for educating students and the projected and anticipated outcome of educating those students. I would move away from districts altogether. Too many schools, poor performing schools, hide behind unions and all sorts of red tape that keep them more in tune to negotiating and renegotiating their contracts than the curriculum in the classroom that they're trying to instill in these children. So I do understand that there is a need for a drastic overhaul. I would even go so far as to probably say get rid of the Department of Education.
Woo!
And put that back in the state's hands. Because it's kind of like if I go to the supermarket to buy a package of chicken thighs, let's say, I want to fry some chicken and that dog on it. I'm just keeping it really real right about now. I am no longer campaigning. I am being me, and oh well. But I have lived through times in the earlier part of my marriage to Michael where, you know, the phrase is trying to make the ends meet. Well, I've lived through times where the ends didn't come nowhere near meeting, seeing each other, or anything else.
Exactly.
And you have to learn how to make the most of what you have. But there are certain things that you just, the human side of you wants to not see people suffer through.
Yeah.
Hunger is one of those things.
Exactly.
But like I digress. In my mind, there's a couple of major things that do need to be done. One, get rid of the Department of Education. Put those decisions back to the state. When you go to buy something, you go to buy chicken, you know what color that chicken should be. If it's any color other than the one you know it should be, you're not going to buy it. You're going to know it's substandard. So if I'm spending the same amount of tax dollars that are going to education as to go to this school over here that has a 50 or 60% dropout rate, I would want to be able to decide, one, that my tax dollars no longer go to that school. And two, where those tax dollars go. And I would even go so far as to say, if we really want to talk about investments in infrastructure, how about this? If your tax dollars still go to a low-performing school, it is by your choice, and you would then get a higher tax credit for doing so and investing in that school, under the proviso that that school bring its operations up to state.
Yeah, as long as it's state, I'm fine with it. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Wright of the Shannon and Mike Wright show in the morning, The Right Way with Shannon and Mike. I thank you so much for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not learned anything tonight, don't remember anything tonight, remember this. God bless America. It's now America's time to bless God. Good night. God bless. Merry Christmas to you all. And we will see you tomorrow night on New Day Black and Red. Let's listen to a little bit bluegrass on the way out. Love you, Shannon. See you in the morning.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, ho, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, as they shouted out with glee, yippee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history, you'll go down in history. Like George Washington.
Merry Christmas!